Breaking news. The Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, has condemned the federal government for empowering some private security outfits in a pipeline surveillance contract to the tune of 4 billion naira. He expressed his displeasure over alleged refusal of the federal government to strengthen the security of the states who could have taken over such a contract in their respective states. The government stated this in a statement it signed and issued through its press secretary, Mr. Olabode Richard, on Wednesday. According to the chairman, Southern Governors Forum, the action of the federal government has implied that it permitted private security outfits to bear heavy assault weapons while denying the same privilege to the states. The federating unit to tackle insecurity. The statement reads in part, the federal government, through the Office of a National Security Advisor, has been consistent in its refusal to accede to the request by some states and the Federation to strengthen the complementary initiatives adopted to protect lives and property. It is done in spite of the knowledge that the very issues which necessitated the creation of these outfits support providing adequate weaponry. It is therefore shocking to read that the federal government has maintained the award of a contract to protect the country's pipeline from vandals to private organizations. This story, if true, leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Consequently, it is safe to conclude that the federal government has impliedly permitted non-state actors to bear heavy assault weapons while denying the same privilege to the states, the federating unit. The governor added, if state governments which are keenly desirous of protecting their citizens establish ancillary security outfits and there has been pronounced reluctance, if not outright refusal, to consider permitting them to bear arms for the sole purpose of defense, granting private individuals and or organizations unfettered access to assault weapons suggests, curiously, deep-seated suspicion and distrust between the federal government and the presumed federating unit. The engagement of private organizations to handle serious security challenges reinforces the belief that the whole defense architecture in the country needs an urgent overhaul. Exactly what I said yesterday. If the federal government cannot trust the security outfit, which their sole duty is to protect both lives and property of the government and its people, then there's a problem. There's a problem that we don't know about. That millions or billions of naira the federal government had to pay Tompolo and other private individuals or organizations to protect pipeline, that money could have gone to reinforce our security outfits in Nigeria, maybe buy weapons, rehabilitate or something, you know. I just think this is an avenue for government to just waste and embezzle money for no just reason, because I don't see why we'll have security outfits, we have the police, we have the armed forces, and yet federal government will spend billions of naira paying private individuals to still do the duty of the security outfits that we have. It's wastage of money, if you ask me. To me, it's wastage of money. But anyway, let's continue the last part here. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, did not respond to calls and messages made to his mobile line on the matter. He also did not reply a text message seeking his consent on Akeredolu's allegation. When I uploaded, I have 2 videos about the contracts given to Tompolo and other, private individuals and organizations. Mind you, by the way, The contract was not only given to Tompolo. I think other organizations are also involved, not just Tompolo. But why I mentioned Tompolo in those videos was like, he's an ex-militant. He was granted amnesty, yeah. But how can you now be paying such huge amounts of money to an ex-militant who was once killing people and destroying government property, kidnapping foreigners from their companies, asking for money? Some ended up dead those times. You are now empowering them, giving them such huge amount of money when you have security operatives that can do that same job. Some people came for me in the comment section saying I don't know what I'm saying. But obviously, if you say I don't know what I'm saying, which means you're also saying Akeredolu does not know what he's saying. I don't know. I don't think that is the way to go. Of course, some people came with the argument of, okay, the ex-militant, then they were fighting for their rights. They were fighting for their resources. Of course, we all know that. But we also know that violence is not the way to go when you are having agitations. When you're agitating for your rights, it is not a crime for you to agitate for your rights. But we all know that committing crime in the process of you saying you're agitating for your rights is not the way to go. You have become a criminal. Once you commit an offense, you kill somebody, you destroy government properties, you have become a criminal, and you must pay for what you have done. That is the sad truth. I cannot come here and start pretending and start, because I don't want to offend people. I have to say it how it is, and this is how it is. This is the real deal here that I'm giving you. As I was saying before, we cannot have security outfits in the country. We cannot have the police, we have the Navy, we have the armed forces, and yet we will now employ private firms, private companies to do that same job that our security and armed forces are meant to do. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. There is nowhere in the world that this is done. Instead of for a while now, the states have been clamoring for state police, for them to be able to protect their citizens because of the insecurity issues that have been happening in these states. The federal government have turned a blind ear to all their requests, and now you are empowering a private individual, a private firm, private organization, and at the end of the day, these people are going to carry guns, and you don't want state security to carry gun. You don't want guns to be at their disposal. It's just like federal government does not trust the states, and maybe they kind of have an hidden agenda while they do not want the states to have their own security personnel or state police. But let me know what you all think in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a massive thumbs up. I'll see you in my next